How did this? That's as a fisheye lens, I guess.
It's this here. It's not that.
Oh,
So that's whatever. But
I don't care if they see my Bible.
all right. Tell me if it looks better when I turn the light out.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just keep you on track by scrolling through.
Okay.
Okay. And so the whole point is to really like get into these teachings and try to guide people if they start asking questions about dog and all of that stuff. Say we're doing a general one on
Oh, sorry, we just went live.
Thursday.
We're just going over what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
So what was the next one? Okay.
You can go live.
So bearded dragons. Okay. All right. So I'm live for a reptile Q&A tonight, but I know that some of my dog food people are going to be in here, or cat food people are going to be in here, which is okay. But I'm mainly focused on reptile education. The first one is going to be bearded dragons, which is an incredibly popular pet, the bearded dragon. But the problem is that most pet stores, especially the big chains like PetSmart and Petco, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this camera, and I'm also looking, towards this one as well, so I can make sure everybody's included here, because I'm on several social media sites. But for instance, like the bearded dragon lizard. And again, I know that a lot of the dog food people are going to be in here because I know so much about dog and cat food. And it's okay if you ask questions. I'm just trying to make this more about reptiles tonight. So anyways, with bearded dragons, you have a big responsibility with any reptile in general, but with bearded dragons, you have a big responsibility to provide them with the same environment that you would find them in Australia. And that's not an easy thing to do. So UVB light is a huge issue with bearded dragons. Let me straighten my camera out there. UVB light is always underrated. It is when salespeople that work at pet stores or the big chain pet stores, if they feel like it looks like somebody's going to get discouraged from a sale because it's all getting too expensive, then they'll say, oh no, you just need heat for now, and that's it. But the real truth, the real fact of the matter is the biggest, most important thing for bearded dragons is UVB and heat. And once again, I I know that my dog and cat food people are going to be in here, and it's fine to ask a question about dog and cat food. I'm just trying to get it towards reptiles tonight, because that is another area of my profession. So anyways, you have to be able to provide UVB and heat for a bearded dragon. That's like the most important. It's more important than a bowl of water. And I'm going to tell you something about the bowls of water as well. Anyways, so in Australia, where the water buffalo and certain large mammals, they'll go up to these ponds to drink. And the bearded dragons will hang out in this in the tree line around these ponds. But when the water buffalo and large mammals make holes near the lakes with their feet, the bearded dragon will quickly run as fast as they can and get in these little puddles that are created by these large mammals, get in these little puddles, and then cool down really fast, and then run back into the shade. So the UVB output in Australia can be as high as 15.0. So that's like a really high UVB output. So these little silly light bulbs that are being sold by ZooMed, Hi, Wild Child. Um, they're just nonsense. You cannot get away, especially like what if you had like a really tall cage for your bearded dragon? A UVB light that's only putting off 5.0 is not going to reach to the bottom. Let's say your cage was 2 feet high. It'll never reach that far. It'll never get down to the bottom of the bearded dragon's cage. So you have to create an environment that's realistic for the bearded dragon. And you do that by giving it proper UVB. My most recommended bulb is a 3-in-1 bulb. A lot of companies make 3-in-1 bulbs, but lately, like Zoom buying their stuff from Japan and China or whoever the lowest bidder is. Hey, Wild Child, Dog Mamas, Tessie. Again, I know that there's a lot of the dog food people in here, but I'm trying to do more of like the reptile thing tonight. But Zoom and there's one other company, but they some of their 3-in-1 mercury vapor bulbs are putting out nothing at all. And some of them are, but it's very weak. So I encourage everybody to get a UVB reader, digital reader. I should have brought mine in tonight, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. But basically, you can have this digital reader, and you just press one button and hold it down, and it'll tell you what the UVB rating is. And then the further you pull it away from the light, it'll tell you. So if you have like a tall cage, you can put the UVB reader down at the bottom of the cage and see just how much UVB your reptile is getting. Bearded dragons need heavy, heavy UVB. This is one of the biggest ways that they got these sandfire dragons, is by giving them lots of UVB light. The other thing for the bearded dragons is balanced diet. Once again, I know there's a lot of the dog food people in here tonight. So it's okay to ask a dog food question, but I'm just trying to keep it more towards the reptiles. Golly, that thing drains my battery fast on my phone. Anyways, bearded dragons, what do they eat? First of all, don't buy packaged products for bearded dragons. Just don't. You know, like they have like these cubes for bearded dragons. Then they have, Zoomed has like this canned food for bearded dragons. They have canned food for almost every reptile. And it's just a bunch of fruits and vegetables mixed up with a bunch of chemicals. Do I need that for my... No. Leopard geckos need no UVB whatsoever in the form of light. But they do need to be able to eat UVB, or like D3. They get it in the form of D3. So leopard geckos do not need light. They need heat, and they need D3. That's how leopard geckos will get that. Wood turtles even need UVB as well. That's crazy. So, what?
I never heard of them.
Oh, wood turtles are beautiful. There's actually versions of, I'm sorry, talking to my wife / producer. You're welcome, Wild Child. There's actually versions of wood turtles all over the world. There's some really beautiful ones, actually. I mean, just stunning. So anyways, talking about the diet for the bearded dragon, I tell every customer this. Well, where does your reptile come from? And, you know, you like your leopard gecko, Pakistan. It's from Pakistan. Well, what do they eat in Pakistan? Leopard geckos will actually eat scorpions. A lot of people don't know that. I'm not supposed to have him, but he was in a pet store. Well, if you saved him, then I'm thankful that you saved him. So I'm not telling you to feed your leopard gecko a scorpion, but there's all kinds of bugs in Pakistan. And if you flew to Pakistan right now and waited for nightfall in the area where the leopard geckos are, and you just took a regular light, just whatever, just plugged it in, and just shined it near some bushes, the leopard geckos would gather around because there's bugs. They want bugs. Your leopard gecko wants bugs. The bearded dragons want bugs. The bearded dragons want cactus. They will also eat cactus. A prickly pear cactus is a very common cactus you can buy at almost anywhere. And they don't want cold cactus. They want warm, easily digestible prickly pear cactus. Bearded dragons will also eat hibiscus flower, which is the same with iguanas, and that's fantastic for bearded dragons. You can feed bearded dragons shredded apples and crickets and mealworms, waxworms. There's just all kinds of bugs. You can even feed them the June bugs. Oh, hello on YouTube. Sorry, I'm looking. Oh, wait, no, you're up here. I keep looking back toward my laptop, but YouTube's here, TikTok's here. This is social media platforms everywhere. So when you start talking about dog food, I would appreciate your thoughts on the Redford brand. Okay, I would have to look that up for you, the Redford brand of dog food. Okay, my wife / producer is going to look it up. I believe that is a brand exclusive to, what's the name of that pet chain right here? Pet Supplies Plus. So, what's it?
Check your comments on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay. Yes, Pookie loves hibiscus. Yes, I should be looking here. I keep looking back at the laptop. Anyways, yes, hibiscus is fabulous for bearded dragons and iguanas. They will eat the crap out of hibiscus, and they always like the stem of the hibiscus, the inner stem as well, which is really nutrient dense. So bearded dragons, they're omnivores. So they love fruit, they love vegetables. Never, ever, ever feed iceberg lettuce to any reptile whatsoever. In fact, if you can avoid iceberg lettuce, avoid it. Iceberg lettuce is a vegetable that does not come with its own good bacteria for us and reptiles or whatever eats even an elephant, for it to be broken down in our digestive systems. So it causes bloating. And bloating in reptiles is deadly. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the D word again on TikTok, but I don't know how else to say it. So avoid iceberg lettuce like the plague. You could also do like collard greens, romaine lettuce, things like that. You can shred cucumbers and carrots and stuff. All that's perfectly fine for iguanas and bearded dragons especially. So once again, the most important thing for bearded dragons that everybody should know is UVB, ultraviolet B. You must get them a UVB light, and you must test it about every 4 to 6 months to make sure that it's still putting out UVB. Iceberg, right, Pookie's Big Mix Cup. Iceberg is deadly to reptiles. You should get a digital UVB tester. I bought mine like 10 years ago, and it was like $200. I'm certain you could probably find one on Amazon for about $50. And it's just like, get a digital one. PetSmart and Petco sell these like little paper ones. You stick under a light bulb, but they're trash, worthless. Get a digital one and hold it directly under the light. It's not like you're going to hold it from the side and aim it towards the light bulb. You got to put it wherever the basking area is. You want to know exactly what UVB the bearded dragon or your iguana is getting. It's vitally important because the bearded dragons will get metabolic bone disease rather rapidly. I mean, rapidly. Let's see here. UVA is for Pookie's Big Mix Cup. Sorry. UVA is for eye health and psychological health, and UVB is for everything else. UVB is the most important thing to establish first. Now, UVA bulbs are somewhat difficult to find. However, you can find Zoomed makes a UVA bulb. It's in blue packaging, and the bulb itself is blue. But once again, I'm not saying not to trust just Zoomed, but trust no manufacturer. you got to figure out a way to test for that UVA. Here in Texas, Southeast Texas, I encourage people to put a rabbit cage or some type of like a turtle environment outdoors, so they can the bearded dragon just live outside in the summer. That's a perfect climate here in Southeast Texas for a bearded dragon, and they'll get all the ultraviolet spectrum that they could possibly need. I saw you were live and thought I'd see if you could help me with advice. Okay, go right ahead, Beck. It is about reptiles tonight, but if you have a question about dog food or what have you, that's fine too. Is the person that asked about the...
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, you Redford? Okay, I'm looking at Redford right now. Here we go.
Beef and brown rice.
Beef, turkey meal, brown rice, pearl barley, pork, natural flavor. So it doesn't look terrible for the person that asked me about Redford dog food. It doesn't look terrible.
For a Frenchie.
Oh, for a Frenchie. There's a lot of inexpensive. How do I say this? This is for the Redford dog food. There's a lot of inexpensive trash in this food. Trash meaning like scraps. So beef. First of all, there's no way beef can be the largest ingredient in here. That's a lie based on their protein percentage. Turkey meal. Well, that could be turkey stripped of all its meat, and then you're getting bones, feathers, and beaks. Oatmeal, because, yeah, dogs are always robbing oatmeal fields. Pearl barley, pork fat. See, they're covering it in fat to convince your dog to eat it. It's a very average food. It's okay. I don't see any dried yeast in there, which is fabulous. When there's extra yeast added to dog and cat food, it's a big hell no. You might want to try like Fromm, Fromm, beef frittata, Fritata, and that's a good one. You have a 7-month-old Yorkie poo. She's refusing food. You're in luck because you have a Yorkie poo. It's a small dog. I would go with that. Is so common for the toy breeds and the small breed dogs to be picky. I would go with something like Tucker's, Tuckers, Tucker's frozen raw or Instinct raw, and always get the frozen. Why is my battery just plummeting here? I think right there. Oh no, because this is right here. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, I'm plugged in. But anyways, Tucker's suddenly it's charging now. Okay. Tucker's frozen raw and Instinct frozen raw. Yeah, I know, Jennifer. I just have to do it. It's just I am pretty raw when it comes to these different social media sites that I'm live from right now. I'm even more raw on petshoptalk.com. Like if somebody does like a one-on-one with me, or they show me videos of issues with their dogs, I'm straight up honest about everything. You're welcome, Wild Child. Yeah, Fromm is not bad. And you may be able to order it directly from Fromm and ask them for sample bags of the other flavors. Oh my gosh, my bulldog. We talked the other day about Taste of the Wild. He will not eat it. What was he eating before Sasshole? Sasshole. So anyways, please, if anybody has reptile questions, yeah, Tucker's and Instinct. That's correct, Beck. That rhymes. Didn't have any samples. Wow, that's a bummer. I've been hearing this lately that a lot of these dog food manufacturers just don't have samples anymore, and that's just sad. In the business, there's a saying, it's no samples, no sales. That's how it goes. You're at. Oh, okay. So I see what's happening here. Your dog's looking for the MSG that it's used to in the Purina. Even though Purina won't tell you that they have MSG in that food, there is MSG in that food. Just like with Chick-fil-A, that makes the dog eat tons of it. So it's like offering a child vegetables at the dinner table and say, eat your vegetables first. And they're like, bleh, you know, that's how that goes. You just have to put it out there. And if he doesn't eat it, then, you know, take it, put it in the fridge or something of that nature. But you can also call Diamond, who makes Taste of the Wild, and ask them for other samples of Taste of the Wild. What are your thoughts on Royal Canin? There is a video in my feed, maybe 3 or 4 rows down, where I'm pointing to a bag of Royal Canin like this. You will get all my input on that Royal Canin. I would personally never, ever feed Royal Canin to my dogs or cats. Origin, you just put your 13 mini Aussie on it, and she's had less itching. That's good. Origin and Acana, the big thing about those two is, excuse me. The big thing about Origin and Acana, they used to be owned by Champion Pet Foods, and I was actually a board member. That was my favorite dog food manufacturer, although they don't like to be called a dog food manufacturer. They call a dog and cat food kitchen. It was my favorite food. We literally ate the same food that the dogs and cats ate. Like when we go there for a board meeting, like we were eating like kings and queens. Like we had lamb and we had the turkey, we had the chicken, we had all the fish, all the 6 different types of fish that they use in their 6 fish flavor, I should say. I mean, it was fantastic. But now it's they got sold. Champion Pet Foods sold the whole thing to Mars, and there's no more transparency with that dog food company. So I no longer trust the brand. Pookie's Big Mix Cup. Do you think feeding a bearded dragon a pinky is ideal? Yeah, just once in a while. I've noticed myself. You're up here. Pookie's Big Mix Cup. I've noticed myself that you start feeding bearded dragons pinkies. If you're going to do it, do live. I never, ever, ever recommend frozen, thawed for anything. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But I noticed that bearded dragons, they get a little spoiled when you start feeding them pinky mice or fuzzy mice. And you put vegetables in front of them and stuff, and they're always just like snubbing you, like, "Where's my meat?" So. Here's the biggest reason on frozen. What's a frozen thaw? Frozen thawed mice and rats. If you guys only knew where these frozen mice and rats come from, you would be absolutely appalled. So most of the mice and rats that you buy frozen have been unalived for 15 hours or more. So they were already, I can't say the word because I'll get muted, but they already had rigor mortis set in, and you can tell because when you look at the mice or the rat that's frozen, you'll see that the skin is black in color. Get rid of it. Don't feed it, because now your bearded dragon cannot borrow the bacteria from the mouse in order to digest the mouse. It's called Animalis bifida. So when people feed frozen thawed, it's a dangerous game, because even if you froze a fresh mouse and then thawed it out, you killed off a lot of that good bacteria, that Animalis bifida, and eventually your reptile, no matter what it is, will run out of that good bacteria, Animalis bifida, and now it's got gastroenteritis, which requires a lot more work now. I've never tried and have thought about it. Maybe, but my own mice and breed them for pinkies. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, feed live. That's my biggest recommendation to anybody. Always feed live. And plus, the snake or the dragon will love it. You know, it's like that Jurassic Park line. You know, like T-Rex doesn't want to be fed; he wants to hunt, because it's true. Anyways, is the ones you mentioned a dry dog food? Yes, it is a dry dog food, Beck. Um, well, no. The Tuckers and the Tuckers and the Instinct is frozen, and then all you do is just maybe like 5 or 10 minutes on a plate or in a bowl. It'll thaw out and it's ready to go. Although I have fed it frozen to dogs before, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Uh, oh, farmer's dog. Farmer's dog. Nope. What farmer's dog doesn't tell you is they buy the scraps of everything from the lowest bidder, you know, like for the least amount of money. And not only that, once they put all your dog's food together, they slap yeast on it. That is according to the very last customer or person here on TikTok about 2 years ago sent me their ingredient label that they got from Farmer's Dog. And it's a big, huge no. Fresh Pet, there is a video on my feed, maybe 3 or 4 rows down. The problem with Fresh Pet or any canned food whatsoever is that it is going to be 78 to 83% water. So if you got like your average can, like say like my hand is a can of food, you're paying for water. You're paying for all this water. It's worthless. Science experiments? I missed something. It's the one you mentioned. Okay. Heather's mermaid dog grooming. You were talking about something being trash, but I missed it.
I think it's something you mentioned that's trash.
Oh, okay. Jinx, I did a video on that one. Actually, I think I did it was a video in PetSmart. Oh, that's what it's called, like the best food at PetSmart. And as I was going through the aisle, I came across Jinx, and I did a review on that. But it's a big note for me. Big note for me. Anyways, so the bearded dragon enclosure also is very important. Ventilation is hugely important. You're welcome, Jennifer. Ventilation is big time important. Basking areas for the bearded dragon is also very important. What is that on my screen? Okay. So anyways, oh, she got an invite to come up.
You invited her?
I didn't invite her. Well, hello. I don't know what happened. Okay, a dry food for a toy breed. Right off the bat, the first thing to mind is Fromm, F-R-O-M-M, beef frittata, and then they have like a couple other flavors, like lamb, and it's called lamb, and then there's one other one. There's several flavors in that line, but for toy breeds, the beef frittata, the lamb, and the chicken are going to be the most popular, because with toy breeds, it's all about the small kibble. They don't want big kibble. And some of my customers even had to take a raw egg and let it sit in the kibble for a little bit of time as well. It's okay. I don't have no idea how that happened. Oh, F-R-O-M-M. And if there's anything more specific, you're welcome. Anything more specific, you can go to petshoptalk.com for a one-on-one. Okay. Yep. Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. I don't know how that happened. That's weird.
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay, so Anyways, so the bearded dragon enclosure is important. I always stick with the 3-in-1 mercury vapor bulbs, although you can rarely find these bulbs that are still being made with mercury. They have a coating called neodymium coating on the light bulb now that helps it to put off UVB, but heat, light, UVB, 3-in-1 mercury vapor bulb. You can find them probably on Amazon for $25 or $30, or you can buy Zoom Eds for $100. They're all the same thing. They come from the same place, which is like Japan or China. For bearded dragons, I've always used slate rock, SLATE, slate rock underneath the heat lamp to allow the dragon. So what that does is allows the light bulb to heat up the rock, so they can not only heat up the top of their bodies, but they can also heat up their bellies as well. So slate rock is great for reptiles, and that goes for any reptile. It could be an iguana or a ball python, Burmese python, whatever. Excuse me. Okay. Pookie's Big Mix Cup. Yeah, that. Okay, got it. So the salesman almost sold me on the Redford. Wild Child Redford is like, there's way worse dog foods out there that someone could possibly feed. It's not like terrible or anything like that. Excuse me. Let me just grab a drink of water here.
You don't breathe enough.
I don't breathe enough. Redford is it's a much bigger profit for like Pet Supplies Plus, because I believe that Redford is exclusive to Pet Supplies Plus, and they get way more profit than they would from like another bag of dog food. So that's why they're taught to push the Redford constantly, because they make so much money off of it, almost triple the profit. So it to me, I believe Redford. You can probably look it up or Google it, but I'm going to guess that Redford brand dog food is going to be a private label, meaning somebody else manufactures the dog food for them, and they just get it put in their own packaging. Anybody with like $100,000 or $150,000 could start their own dog food that way. I mean, it's that easy. So even though tonight is supposed to be about reptiles, anybody has questions about dog food, it's fine. Anybody can, if somebody has an issue with their reptile, like maybe their reptile is sick or is getting sick or has an issue like not eating or so forth, you can also do a one-on-one video call with me on petshoptalk.com, and I can look at it through the video. You're welcome, Wild Child, and give you my my best opinion on what's going on there. So, excuse me, I can't breathe. I have so much to say about everything with the pet business. So there's also the other popular pet, which is ball pythons. That is Pookie's Big Mix Cup. Iceberg. Oh, where am I at? Where am I? I never tried. I've thought about it. I use a 24 watt, 14% UVB. Again, Arcadia, I've never heard of that one, but I do like high pressure sodium mercury bulbs better. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. I use a 24 watt, 14% UVB. I would encourage you to invest in that UVB reader. Mine's down in my truck. I need to go get it. Anyways, you just press a button and stick it under the bulb, because nobody's keeping these guys in check. I kept Zoom Ed in check several years ago. I purchased about 100 of these UVB bulbs for our store, and one of my customers came back and said, "Hey, this is not put on a UVB, it's brand new." And I thought he was trying to get one over on me, like trying to get me to give him a free bulb. So I just started testing all of them, and all of them were bad. They were giving off no UVB whatsoever. So it's ZooMed is owned by Gary Bagnall. He gets a lot of his stuff from Japan and China, and they just can't be trusted. And I encouraged ZooMed to do more quality checks on their products, because who knows how many reptiles have suffered because somebody thought they were getting UVB, but they actually weren't. Ball pythons is another one. They also need UVB. They don't need the same amount of UVB that a bearded dragon does, but they definitely still need UVB. I don't like ZooMed. ZooMed, I think, only makes... Yeah, they have a 5 and a 10%, actually, ZooMed. And same thing with the ball pythons. Where you go to like a reptile show. I hate reptile shows. I hate them. You go to a reptile show, and people don't want to discourage you from buying their trash. So they say, oh, you just feed, frozen and thawed mice and rats or whatever. And, you can get a whole pack of them, of 12 for, $7 or whatever. And everybody's like, oh, that's not bad. I don't have to deal with live food and so forth. But the problem is most of those mice and rats not only have had rigor mortis set in because they don't want to throw them when they come in the morning. They don't want to throw those mice and rats away, so they just freeze them. So not only do they have rigor mortis set in, but now they have zero bacteria to help your reptile digest the mouse that you're giving them. So eventually they get something that's called gastroenteritis, which is huge in ball pythons. Ball pythons are notorious for gastroenteritis. They're basically running out of bacteria, beneficial bacteria in their belly. So that is a big thing. The best way to tell if, the best way to tell if the rat or mouse has had rigor mortis set in is you just kind of slide the fur, so you can see the skin. And if it's black, don't buy it. That skin is black or gray. It's already been unalive for too long. So any beneficial bacteria that mouse has to help your snake digest it, it's gone. So now your snake, you're going to keep offering your snake food, but he's just going to refuse it. He's just going to snub his nose up at it. And that is because of these people that are breeding mice and rats not wanting to take a loss on mice and rats that are unalived overnight, so they just freeze them. It's so dumb. So also, back to the UVB with ball pythons, they positively need UVB. They're from West Africa. They are diurnal, which means they come out in the morning and they come out in the evening. So they come out in the morning light and they come out in the evening light. And they still need UVB no matter what. They don't use a lot of UVB like, say, an iguana or a bearded dragon would, but they definitely still need it. If I flew to, say, Kenya right now and caught a natural ball python in the wild, it would be black and orange, not black and gray, like you see most of these ball pythons that are available in pet stores. So UVB is important for almost every reptile there is, except for geckos. What was the next one? Yeah, I went over that, feeding and stuff like that. So I know there's going to be some of the dog people that come in here, which is fine. Tonight was more about reptiles, but if you have a dog question, it's fine too. I can't resist helping with that. Yeah, so that's ZooMed, Pookie's Big Mix Cup. ZooMed needs to be, all these companies that are buying from Japan and China and just repackaging it, they need to be held accountable. They need more quality checks on their products. The one product that I have used for reptiles that has stayed true over the years, the decades, is Exoterra. Exoterra stuff, I always would tell people, like, Exoterra is like the Abercrombie and Fitch of the reptile world. It's like quality stuff. It costs a little bit more, but they have good quality stuff and they have quality control. And I have tested Exoterra's bulbs, and they've always tested like 2.0 above what the box said. So if the box said at 10% UVB, it would test at 12% or 13%. And so I've never had issues with Exoterra's. I forgot what do they call moon glow, sun glow. I think that's the name of their mercury bulb, was called Sun Glow. I've never ever had issues with Exoterra's products at all. So UVB is one of the biggest things that I try to encourage, but the problem is like PetSmart, Petco, or even like private pet stores, they don't want to lose the sale, and UVB bulbs are expensive. So because they don't want to lose the sale, they'll just say, you don't really need one. But me personally, I would do anything for the customer to have everything that they need. I would go find like a used UVB bulb of my own in the back. I would test it out and say, okay, this one only has 6% left. It's testing 6.0 in the UV scale. We're just going to have to drop it a little bit lower so that, it gets closer to the bearded dragon, because a lot of people are in between paychecks and so forth, and I get it. And I tell them, in 3 months minimum, you got to come back and get a brand new UVB bulb because this one will be burnt out. Like, I would do anything to help out people to have the proper setup for their reptiles. But most pet stores will just say, no, you don't need that. Like UVB on fish tanks. That's imperative. It's a must. But if you go to a fish store, like a privately owned fish store, they'll just sell you just some crap-ass bulb and say, oh, no, this is all you need. Well, do I need UVB? And they'll say, no, you don't need UVB. Because UVB bulbs are expensive and they don't want to lose the sale. But UVB will sterilize that water, and the water looks real nice, clear, and smooth looking. It's just every 4 months to be safe. Yes, that is perfect. Actually, Pookie's Big Mix Cup, I just did a video about that because at PetSmart it says replace every 6 to 12 months. But I said actually more accurately would be every 4 to 6 months. So, yeah, that is a very good thing. I really need to bring my UVB tester on here next time. Fish tanks. Fish tanks is another big one. There's a lot of do's and don'ts with fish tanks. I can actually, like personally with fish tanks, I can set up a saltwater tank in about 10 minutes and put saltwater fish in it. If you go to PetSmart or Petco and you tell one of the employees there that you're interested in starting a saltwater tank, they will absolutely discourage it because they don't want to spend the time trying to, tell you everything that you need. They just want to be left alone. You go to a private store like mom and pop shops and you tell them you want to set up a saltwater tank, they will sell you anything and everything. They will just pile it on you like crazy. But literally, it's just salt and water. That's it. There's no complications to it at all. I've had people come in that have had their saltwater tanks busted by a baseball being thrown in the house by their kids or something. Really expensive saltwater fish. I had somebody come in with yellow tangs and I can't remember the other name of it. It's about $1,000 worth of fish, even a stingray. And I had a fish tank set up in about 15 minutes because it was a bigger setup that I had, 55 gallon. But it just took me about 15 minutes and I was ready to go. It's not complicated like a lot of people make it online. And I don't know why some of these fish tank nerds say stuff like, oh, no, you really got to cycle it for about 2 months and then, you got to do this and do that. It's not that complicated. It's freaking salt and water and you mix it up. Yes, you got to gauge it. You got to get a gauge for it and so forth. And the pH has to be good. You got to get a little gauge for the pH. Those two things are very inexpensive. Now, is it the same salt that you use at a restaurant? No, because that salt has iodine in it. But otherwise, yes, you could just throw that salt into water, and that's salt water. Salt water tanks also require a wet-dry system as well, which can be done so many ways. You can make a homemade wet-dry system that's very easy. Exoterra makes these all-in-one tanks. What are they called? I can't remember what they're called. But they have very good wet and dry systems on their tanks, so you don't have to have all this extra stuff sitting around. And, like in the 70s and 80s, if you wanted a saltwater tank, it was complicado. I mean, it was really complicated. And it was like this whole array of pipes, and it was kind of weird. But the other problem with pet stores is they don't feed their fish. It's really obnoxious. So if you go into a pet store to buy fish, and when the fish see you and they come to the glass and start, freaking out of the glass, it's because they're hungry, and that means nobody's feeding them. For some reason, it's overlooked by most pet stores, private and chain pet stores. They're not feeding their fish, and that's not a good sign.
You feed them when you go.
I just went to Petco, and all the fish were like, crashed up against the glass. Like, are you gonna feed us? You gonna feed us? So I just moseyed around Petco and looked for their food, and I found their bucket of food, which there was hardly missing any out of it. And I went around and fed all their fish for them. I don't care, because it's such a mean thing to do to fish. Just because they're in water and they're not complaining and you can't hear them doesn't mean they're not hungry. Water changes on fish tanks are very important. You can do anywhere from a 10 to 25% water change per week, which is perfectly fine. There's a whole lot of options for filters. You can even make your own homemade filter. And if anybody had like any kind of particular question about the reptiles or fish tanks, or they wanted me to walk them through a reptile or fish tank setup, they could literally just go to petshoptalk.com, and I would do a one-on-one video with them, no problem, and walk them through the whole process. So tonight is supposed to be mainly about reptiles tonight, but if there are any questions about dog and cat food, because I know I can see some of the dog and cat food people that I know have come in here, but they can see that I'm talking about fish and reptiles. It's okay if you want to ask a question about dog and cat food as well. And to my reptile and fish people that can hear and see me, I've been in the business my entire life. So at my pet store, man, there was just lines of people lined up to talk to me, and it was just like, oh. And sometimes I didn't even eat lunch, and just hours would fly by without me even knowing it. But anybody can have my attention one-on-one through petshoptalk.com. It's feast or famine here on social media. One time I had 700-something people on here, and last night was really good, and now tonight I got 7 people in here. So it's just it all depends, on what's going on. Anyways, Pookie's Big Mix Cup, I appreciate all the input that you gave me here on YouTube, especially. These lives will also be reposted on petshoptalk.com for people to see. And maybe somebody asked a question that you have, and you can find it on that video as well. I saw a TikTok video today where here in Texas, a guy was walking his dogs to a lake, and this gator came right up to the shore quickly. And I knew that was trouble. When I was watching the video, I was like, this is trouble. That gator, gators can be savage beasts. But anyways, this guy started cursing at the gator, saying, "Make your move, make your move." And this gator just leapt out of the pond towards this guy's dog. Just a video I saw on TikTok. But I have a pretty funny story. When I was a child, I was in Lake Okeechobee, Florida, with my father. We were collecting snakes and lizards for hours and hours. But I looked off into the lake, and I saw there was a gator there, and I was like, that gator looks kind of funny, like what does that look like? And it looked like the gator was missing its upper jaw, like it only had a lower jaw. And I was like, boy, that's really weird. This gator was probably, I don't know, 12 to 14 feet long. It was a massive gator. So I said to my dad, I remember I'm a kid, I'm like, Dad, look at that gator. Something's wrong with him. And my dad's like, oh, you're right. It looks like he's missing his upper jaw. Like something just took his top of his jaw off. And I'm like, well, we got to help him. Like, we got to do something for him. My dad goes, what do you want to do? Like, and so anyways, and I was like, well, can we at least just go see if, we can help him at all? So my dad starts walking out into the lake to go look at this gator. It was a pretty clear water. This gator that supposedly had a missing upper jaw. And I'm behind my dad, and we're walking closely, getting closer to the gator. And the gator moved its head like this, and the sand that was sitting on his snout, that was camouflaging his upper jaw, came off. And my dad freaked out. He's like, he's not missing his jaw. And this gator just hightailed it towards us. It's going to eat us. Luckily, we were in like 2 feet of water, so we were able to run away. But that was pretty funny. That was one of the funnier things that's happened to me in life. But no. So if there's any other questions that anybody has, a dog, cat, reptile, fish, now would be a good time to put it out there. No problem. You can also ask me one-on-one through petshoptalk.com. Yep. Oh, yeah. We do exclusive lives on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays at 7:30 Central Time. Anybody can get my attention through petshoptalk.com. You can send me messages and so forth. There's not much that I don't know about the industry, so if anybody wants, there's certain things I can say on here on TikTok or YouTube and other social sites, but there's certain things that I can't say. But if you want me, what do they call that? Unleashed, or you want the raw truth, and you want me to just say it like it is, it would have to be through petshoptalk.com, and I'll tell you exactly what you are asking, no matter whose feelings it hurts. My daughter feeds her multi-poo that and was curious if it was good. Beck feeds her, oops, what did I? Oh, Nutrisource. I haven't looked at those ingredients in years. Hang on, we're gonna look that up there. Beck. What's the name of the coating for the UVB again? Heather's mermaid dog. Are you talking about the tester? Like how you test the UVB bulbs?
I think the coating on the.
Oh, the coating, neodymium. You said coating, so I think you meant coating. But neodymium. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's no problem. Yep, they either use neodymium or mercury. Or you can even use them together. But it's a little more complicated, which makes it a little more expensive. Looking up the Nutrisource there, Beck. Hang on one second. All right. Got that right here. Okay. Oh, yes. All right. Chicken meal, brown rice, barley, chicken fat. All right. Yeah, they wish. So the first thing I see on here that angers me is brewer's dried yeast. That is a yeast that is used to brew beer quickly. It is a fast-acting yeast, and dogs that are neutered or spayed will react to this even worse, and they'll react even worse in the spring and summer when it heats up with the itching, scratching, chewing, licking, digging in the ears, ear infections. There's not a lot of meat in this bag. Dogs are carnivores. All you gotta do is lift their lips and look at their teeth. They've got a lot of grain in here that cannot be digested by a dog, so it's going to give the dog really big poops. But the chicken and chicken meal, they would have to prove it. These are chicken scraps that they buy for pennies on the dollar. I personally would not feed this food myself, and Nutrisource would have to prove to me where they get their chicken from and invite me into their manufacturing facility and show me. It's no problem, Heather Mermaid. I notice you're a dog groomer. I got a lot of dog grooming stories too. Some of them are not good. Some of them were pretty bad. But anyways, so petshoptalk.com, anybody can ask me in-depth questions or one-on-one video and so forth. Please help support the channel so I can continue to do this to help people and do what I love. Do puppies need grain for development? Someone told me that. Yes, Beck, you say BS, and it is BS. All right, I'm going to explain it to you. Let's say your dog went out and killed... Oh, I'm not supposed to say that word on social media. Dang it. I hope I'm not muted now. Oh, you've had your own grooming business for 16 years. Yeah, I got some crazy stories for dog grooming. Anyways.
I've been grooming for 13 years now.
Oh, yeah, my wife's been grooming for 13 years. Anyways, let's say your dog went out and unalived or hunted a rabbit, right? Now, you can go on nature channels and check me if you'd like to. But if a lion, a tiger, a bear, a large cat like a tiger, I already said tiger. I don't know what I'm trying to say at this moment. Just any carnivore that makes a hunt on an animal, the first thing that they do is once they know that the animal is unalived, I can't believe I'm not allowed to say the real word, but once they know that it's out, they will sniff around on the hunted animal near the belly area. And once they find the belly, they'll pull it open. They'll pull the skin open right there. And they will eat the stomach first. And that's because they need to borrow the bacteria from that animal's stomach in order to digest whatever that animal ate. So let's say it was a rabbit and your dog hunted a rabbit. Well, let's say earlier the rabbit went and ate a bunch of fava beans somewhere and some crop and ate a bunch of carrots. Well, dogs and cats can't digest that unless they borrow this bacteria called Animalis bifida. If they borrow that bacteria, then they can digest grains and vegetables. Otherwise, they cannot. But they have to have that Animalis bifida. So an animal, once it makes a hunt, it will eat the stomach, and then it will go after the nutrient-dense organs like the liver, kidneys, and heart. Those have tons of nutrients in it. It's like a big, giant vitamin. And then they eat the dark meat first. And if they have pups, they leave the white meat for the pups. But no, dogs do not need grain. All you got to do is look at their teeth. I just take a moment, drink some water. Anyways, like I was saying before, if anybody wants a one-on-one with me, go through petshoptalk.com. Please help support the channel. That way I can continue to help other people. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. It's getting pretty slow. I want to thank Pookie's Big Mix Cup on YouTube here. My YouTube aspect of everything is brand new. Even Instagram. You're welcome, Deb. What was I going to say? You're welcome, Heather's Mermaid Dog Grooming. I'll have to tell a dog grooming story the next time. When am I going to be on here again? Thursday at 7:30 Central Time. I'll tell a crazy dog story, a dog grooming story that happened in my store that was out of this world. And actually, I have a recording of it somewhere. So I'll have to try to find that. But otherwise, I can just tell you what it was. I mean, anybody that's been grooming for as long as you have, or been in the business as long as I have seen a lot of horror stories with groomers that have no business grooming. It was a dog groomer. I'll give you a teaser. I'll give you a teaser, and then I'll save the rest of the story for Thursday at 7:30 Central. Girl that came in, really nice. I asked her to groom one of my customers' dogs to see how she did. Everything went fine. Turns out she was an absolute psycho, like a psycho. And I'll tell you what she did to these dogs, these show dogs of all things. Anyways, thanks everybody for being on here, and I will see everybody Thursday, or anybody who wants to come. Go to petshoptalk.com and contact me through there, or I'll be on Thursday at 7:30 Central Time. Again, thanks everybody for being on here. Bye, Pookie's Mix. Pookie's Big Mix Cup. See you later. Slippery. Okay.